Hey there, Frailers. Well, we're going to do something a little different this time, and you'll see that I'm going to have the camera pointed more towards down farther so you can really see what my right hand is doing in addition to what my left hand is doing. Most of the time when I do the Frailing Folk Song of the Week, I figure that you know that my left hand or my right hand is mostly just doing the straight frailing strum, and it's really just, you know, the whatever I'm doing with my left hand that you need to pay all that much attention to. But in this particular case, I'm going to go over something a little bit different today. We're going to talk about playing slow, and I'm going to do a song here that is slow, and then we're going to talk about some techniques. Because most of the time when you're learning how to play and you're learning the frailing strum and you're actually trying to work up and get to the point where you're playing fast. So all you're thinking about is going from to so once you get to that point and you get to be a little more proficient, sometimes you'll find that if you want to try to play a really slow song, it can be tricky. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play a song that you're familiar with, or you probably are familiar with. It's a Rolling Stones song that's slow. And then I'm going to talk about it afterwards. And one thing I do want to tell you is that one thing you'll find is that nothing I play, you know, verse to verse, chorus to chorus, is carved in stone. Almost everything I do, you know, I'm working within the structure of the frailing strum and with the chords, but everything else is sort of improvised. I probably would never play the same song exactly the same way twice. So this is no different there. I'm just, you know, there are certain little techniques and things that I do, that I play around with, that really still do fall into frailing, or clawhammer, if you will. Anyway, with that said, let's get started. Childhood living is easy to do. The things you wanted, I bought them for you. Graceless lady, you know who I am. You know I can't let you slide through my hand. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild, wild horses will ride them someday. I watched you suffer a dull aching pain. And now you've decided to show me the same. No sweeping exit, off stage line can make me feel bitter or treat you unkind. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses I know I've dreamed you a sin and a lie. I have my freedom, but I don't have much time. Faith has been broken, tears must be cried. Let's do some living after we die. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Whoops. Wild horses will ride them someday. Well, I messed up a couple of times in there, but the whole point is to show you some things. So, anyway, so some of the little techniques. I mean, we usually think of frailing as just being the standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you get a little farther along, you can break up that first note by going so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That sort of thing. By adding a hammer on between the strike and the strum. But there are other ways of breaking up that 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're still frailing. You're still striking down with generally the middle finger. For one thing, you can reverse the strum and the strike, so you can go like that. Or you can do double thumbing. Or you can do one of my favorites, which is what I call playing an arpeggio, and what you're really doing is you're dragging down. So you're going. So all you're doing is you're taking your second finger and you're dragging down across one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Because an arpeggio is just a chord broken up into its individual notes. And sometimes when you're trying to play a slow song or a ballad, that kind of thing can be your best friend. Because one of the problems you find when you're trying to do a slow song is if you're doing. One thing, it gets a little repetitive, but the other thing is with a banjo, sometimes you don't feel like you have quite enough sustain to make it all blend in together. So sometimes in order to play slowly, you have to actually play a few extra notes. And that's where the double thumbing comes in. But let's get started here. Let's go back. So, Wild Horses, we start out with a B minor. Now, if you remember, A minor is up here, and really it's your C, except you're also playing at the second fret here. So the easiest way to do that is, that's your A minor. So if you slide that up to the third fret, that's your B minor. So you can do a couple of things. You can go just strum, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can basically make the strum last for childhood, and then it goes to a G. Living. Now, what I do in there is, there are basically 3 things that I do, and I'll do one of these at various points. So you can do your you can do a strum, and then thumb, and then you can go slide on the second string from the first to the third. Or the other one I'll do is I'll go on the third string and slide from the second fret to the fourth fret. And then sometimes I'll combine the 2 of them together, which is basically you're taking a D7, which is right here, and sliding up like that. So it's sliding up, or so. Child. Now sometimes you can do the strum and just hold it, childhood, live into G, or you can kind of double thumb it, kind of go. So what you're doing here is I'm going, striking with the second string, say at the third fret, and then the second string, and then the first string. So it's, so you're kind of alternating between one of those strings and then the thumb. So let's start again. We'll go childhood to G. Back to the B minor. It's easy to do. And then it goes to an A minor. So what I'll do is which again is a little double thumbing. So you can do little hammer-ons there. alternating between the 4th string and the 1st string at the 2nd fret. And to D, back to G. Again, so it's childhood living is easy to do. To G, I'm sorry, to C, I'm sorry, to A minor. The things you, now it goes to C, wanted, to D. So I'm doing really, you can do full chord hammer-ons. To break it up a little. To G. Back to D. And then back to the beginning again, so it's B minor. Graceless lady, you know who I am. Back to the A minor. You know I can't to see that you right through my hand. And then it goes into the chorus. So from that point, you will now go to the A minor. Now, in the Stones recording, that's right at that point where Charlie Watts starts hitting the snare drum. So it's like wild roses. So it's A minor, wild to C, horses. It goes to G, couldn't drag me, F, away to C. C, G, and then back to A minor. Wild horses. So again, I'm doing that little double thumbing thing where I'm kind of doing arpeggios and alternating between a couple of different. Drag me away. G, back to A minor. Wild horses. And then it goes back to the verse again, the B minor. And that's basically the whole song. You're just repeating the verse, but you know what I would advise is, you know, as you're going through, sometimes, you know, break it up a little bit. Learn how sometimes do Now, one other thing I wanted to mention or show you, for all of you people who might happen to be Jimi Hendrix fans, frankly, I'm not really a Jimi Hendrix fan, but when you do the sometimes you might find yourself going, well, she's walking through the cloud. In many ways, it's a very similar song. You know, you're going E minor, walking through the clouds to G. Back to A minor. I don't remember the words. Back to E minor. Anyway, but then there's that part that goes, basically you're going a D, you're sliding up, which becomes an E, and then back down to here, which would be a C. So it's... Anyway, I'll let you play around with that for those of you who are really interested, but sometimes when I'm playing this song, I kind of hear that in my head at that one point. Anyway, so that may be more, well, I'm not going to say more advanced, but that may be more peculiar to me, the way I play some of those little licks and the way I work out the arpeggios and the techniques and things. So, you know, that may or may not work for you, but hopefully some of it will. And hopefully some of it will be interesting enough that you can try to incorporate it into other songs that you work on. You know, because the frailing strum does not have to just be, you know, you're breaking it up into 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a... But then you can also slow it down and do your... And sometimes when you're accompanying yourself singing, it can be very handy to be able to kind of go a little bit more minimal. So you don't always have to be doing... You can be doing a little... And that's how you build dynamics into your song. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, and things have been a little busy for me lately, so that's why I didn't get to do one last week, but hopefully this made up for it. Anyway, you guys have fun with that, and I will hopefully see you next week. Bye.